I'm the best. Wanna help me clean up the mess? Yes, and on the 8th we rest. My Lord, we great. Gotta let goodness penetrate. Ha, I'm solar made. Wanna shine, come meet your fate. Everybody looking to medicate, yeah. Come medicate. I said everybody looking to elevate, yeah. Come elevate. I said everybody looking to medicate, yeah. Come medicate. I said everybody looking to elevate. Come elevate.
You're still already and you're still here. Climb out the bottom and we'll fight your feet. Crawl to the top and we'll jump right off. The midst of transition you might feel lost. Like an employee when you're the boss, but you gotta be employed to be the boss. These words are simple but they are true. Just don't forget,
What?
I love you.
Okay, everybody looking to elevate. Elevate, come elevate. I said everybody looking to medicate. Come medicate. I said everybody looking to elevate. Yeah, come elevate. I said everybody looking to medicate. Come medicate. Yeah. What it look like? What it look like? Yeah. What it feel like? What it feel like? What it feel like? What it feel like? Yeah. What it fake like? What it fake like? Yeah. What it fake like? What it fake like? What it real like? What it real like? What it real like? Yeah. What it real like? What it real like? What it real? Yeah. Everybody looking to medicate. Yeah. Come medicate. Everybody looking to elevate. Yeah. Come elevate. I said everybody looking to medicate. Yeah. Come medicate. Everybody looking to elevate. Come elevate. Come elevate. Come elevate. Yeah. Come elevate. Come elevate. Yeah. Come medicate. Come medicate. Come medicate. Yeah. Come medicate.
good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news. Join me, Gareth Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and so on. Or you can go directly to the main Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
great. That's some great stuff. Getting this ready. All right. We're going to be testing the music again. Of course, if you're just tuning in. Besides me, I guess let's get this started. Besides me talking and sharing these things, we're mostly sharing what you're hearing, the music on the stream. And basically you're just chilling with me, chilling with Jay here. Let me switch the camera. Oh yeah, there we go. Hey guys, how's it going? Good evening, good morning. All that nonsense. Yeah, so I decided to get a show going because I have a couple new things. I have a mini to paint for my game, as in the description is. We're going to be playing Final Fantasy D20, and I'm going with a time mage. I could actually just show you because I have the wonderful mini right here. Let's see if we can get that here. Look at that guy. So we're going to get some details on this guy. Alright, I'm going to try to get a glow effect around those, but first we're going to do the basics. Going to start with the cape or his hood, and then work out some other details and maybe do the glowing stuff here, but we're just going to try to get at least a few colors on here to get them going so we can get them on the tabletop. Might do the base a little bit because I got to paint them or glue them to the base. Here's the base. Also, we got a new tarantula there, which I'll be talking about. Look at that. So there's some things to do here with the base. I'm going to find out what colors I want to put on. And obviously the rocks are probably going to be like a gray. So we're going to go with that. And yeah, some painting techniques. But before we start with that, we are going to talk about this. There. Today, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I got a wonderful feedback that sometimes the music's a little louder when I'm talking, so I'm going to test that. I'm going to bring this mic a little closer here. Let's get this back going. Look at my hair's growing out a little more. I'm trying to do that. The woman wanted me to try to grow it out as much as possible, get these curls going again, and it's happening. It's happening. Finally getting the beard a little thicker, a little softer. That's what's going on here. Look at that. Anyways, it's a little warm up here as usual. That's going to happen with it being in the attic. Oh, just in case, since I am doing a little bit audio stuff, we're gonna test it. Just, you know, you're in the chats, Facebook, YouTube. Eventually, I'm probably gonna switch over to not switch over, but try to get to Twitch. Or when I'm doing gaming stuff, I might go Facebook, Twitch, or something like that. We'll see. I was doing all three before, but there's a whole licensing issue with streaming. So if I'm doing Twitch, I can't post, I think, for a certain time frame after I went live on Twitch to other platforms. So I don't know. It's what I was looking up the last time I was doing these things. But yeah, so we had some. Oh man, I don't have my my hammer on me, and I'm trying to find this particular store I was at, so I can talk about this too. I'll look up my chargers here. But yeah, a week ago, I was on a train headed to Harvard, where I'm doing some work at, and on the train going downtown to the Ogieville, Animal Island. There we go. Ogieville. I'm usually wearing my Thor hammer. I have it taken off now. I got my Solomon seals right here. That's gonna be hard to see. I could probably get a close up. But anyways, they're Solomon seals because I enjoy that aesthetic. and but I have my what you call it, Mjolnir. Mjolnir. I think that's how you say it, something like that. But Odin's hammer, Thor's hammer, and this guy with one eye wearing a I guess the American flag, kind of like a scarf that was like tucked into his shirt. He he looked like a man of the streets. I was wearing my knee pads as I usually do when I'm going to work, because who knows what I'm going to be doing. Most likely I'm going to be on my knees. That's how I earn my keep. And he wanted my knee pads he's like, hey, those are like some nice knee pads. Would you sell them to me? And I'm like, I'm sorry. No, I need them for work, and I wasn't. I was taking the train, so I wasn't going to go stop somewhere else and try to buy some new knee pads. Next time, though, if I run into him, I might just give them to him and then do that, because who knows with the ending of the story. So we're talking for a bit and talking about the knee pads, and he's like, oh, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And then he saw the hammer, and he goes, Odin's hammer. And he went like this. And he's like, can I get that? I was like, no, it was actually a gift to me by my wonderful woman. And I told him it was a sign that she says I was chosen. I'm a chosen one. So she got me because I'm chosen. And so we're talking, and then he's like, well, I got to go. And I was like, all right. And he goes, real quietly, goes, a war's coming. And he walks off the train. So and he had one eye. And little did I know, she and my friend's brother both said maybe it was Odin who was testing me, So I should have gave him my knee pads, and I should have gave him my hammer, But oh well, oh well. But it was quite interesting. Riding the Orange Line, heading to the train station. And so that started my week last week. I was actually going to try to do a live stream, but I think I got home late from work. I've been tired almost every day, either when I'm getting sleep or not. I don't know if it's just because of the weather changing or something, but I've been so tired. Even right now, I'm tired. But the only reason why I'm doing it is because I don't have to get up for work tomorrow. And two, I got some things I was trying to get together, like I was explaining my character for my D&D game. And then today, which I thought was great since I'm kind of doing, tarantula videos or whatever, but I ended up getting a new tarantula, very cheap too. This is a tarantula I had a long time ago. It's called a Grammophone Polk Rips, or the the Choco Goldeny, if I remember that's the correct term. And I went in there to look for a rose hair, which was a common tarantula back in the day. They apparently, because of the way things have changed with imports and stuff like that, not recently, not because of the tariffs and whatnot, but some years ago, and I think there was something done with Illinois law or something like that about exotics or something. But and I say that because I got the majority of my tarantulas came actually from outside Illinois. I shouldn't say that, like half. So a lot of my tarantulas, when I first started in the tarantula trade, they were given to me. I didn't even have to, just like they came upon me, and that's how I collected them. And then I went to a couple of pet stores, and then sure enough, there were some tarantulas, and I didn't see them a lot. Now I'm seeing tarantulas a lot in pet stores. Petland, Petco. The scorpion I got was actually from PetSmart, and I usually try to find them for cheap because it's it's kind of expensive at times. And the first few I had were very cheap. Back in the day, it was cheap, and I'm talking like 15 years ago or something like that, 10 years ago, a decade ago. They were a lot cheaper than what they are now. And so it's like, I could spend $30, which I spent $30 on this little one, and it's going to be hard to tell. I'll kind of show you guys here, but so anyways, that's how I started, got into it, and it's just been, I don't know, I've just grown to love, I've always been a fan of the animal kingdom. We're part of the animal kingdom, so I've been a fan of our fellow, the rest of our cousins from the animal kingdom, including arthropods, which include tarantulas and spiders. Tarantulas and spiders are not the same. And originally I was scared of tarantulas. Okay, I was scared of these types of things. One, because I've never had such a thing, and it's a tarantula. You know, there's kind of a fear behind it, and I don't know if it's something that's innate in us. Like, what's that study about? Was it kids are scared of snakes? I might be getting that confused, or flipped. Maybe we found out that we learned to be scared of snakes, and children, when they tested snakes and other creatures with babies and young children, they weren't really afraid. I might be flipping that. If someone out there can correct me or whatever. But tarantulas themselves, like scorpion arthropods, they're like some of the first animals that walk this planet. So spiders in themselves, tarantulas specifically, and scorpions too, they're like ancient creatures. They literally have a lineage more ancient than us, you know. And I don't know if that's just why I'm connected with them. Also, you know, if you follow astrology, I'm a Scorpio. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a connection there. But originally, when I got tarantulas, which was thanks to a friend, Amy of mine, who was also part of my paranormal crew growing up, when I used to be more involved into the paranormal circles. If you don't know, paranormal researcher, enthusiast, investigator, many things. You can look me up, and oh God, it's such a good song. You can look me up. Done speaking events, and was part of certain projects, and which I'm probably going to do a podcast and talk about all those things specifically, which is why I have the LCGH podcast, so I can focus those things. But if you're listening and you're interested in the paranormal stuff and you have questions, or I don't know, just hit me up in the chats, YouTube, Facebook, just mark it in the chat. You got a question, I'll answer it as quick as I can. I appreciate the people that were leaving me feedback on YouTube. So thank you, and the people that watch on YouTube and Facebook, I appreciate all of that. So keep doing that. So anyways, so yeah, I've been involved with tarantulas for the last at least 15 years or so, and it's grown. You know, I used to think I had 8, almost 10 tarantulas at one point. You look at my Facebook, you can find out when I talked about my Lasiodora parabahana that escaped once, which was 6 years ago or something around there. 6 to 8 years ago that happened. And she escaped. She figured out how to open her cage. I made a makeshift cage, and I came home, which is not the first time a tarantula escaped, and probably won't be the last, actually. I had one escape here that was in my daughter's room, and we found it in her by her bookshelf, and luckily it was a male curly-haired tarantula, so they're very docile, and it didn't do anything. But they're kind of wandering type of spiders. They're curious. This particular one, which I said is a Chaco Goldie, thanks to a friend of mine, Liz. She had a friend who had a 8-year-old Chaco Goldie, and she couldn't handle it when she had a kid. So I was like, hey, I'll pick it up. And again, like I said, most of my tarantulas kind of fell in my lap. So I picked her up, and I started inspecting the cage, and the story of this, Jane was her name. And I started inspecting her cage, and she had mites everywhere. So what that means is that they were just throwing crickets in and leaving them. And she was very timid. I guess they are they call them the gentle giants. And she's gonna get big. You know, she's gonna get big. As big as, I'm gonna hold this up, you're gonna see once I start opening it for the other things. I'm not gonna mess with her too much because she's very small here, but she's gonna get pretty much as big as this, if not bigger. And oh god, this is a nice part of the song.
Más allá por el lindero, veredas fijas de pobladores. Más allá por el lindero,
you can find those guys on YouTube. Dos Santos is the band. It won't let me read the whole thing.
Forman cimientos, la vida se va viviendo, despierta y espanta el sueño, derrumba muros y alrededores. Se acerca la madrugada
course, again, you can find out all the information about the stream at right down here, right? The anomalous radio network.podbean.com. Look for a 24-hour stream. Click that, go directly there, and you can listen to shows and songs like this on the stream at any point 24/7. So, yeah, check that out, please. You're supporting, by clicking on that, you're supporting the podcast, the network, and obviously this live stream, as well as all the bands that I have playing on the stream, which are friends to just local bands within the area, and thanks to also a friend of mine's old webzine, I guess, the Chicago Singles Club. So, and then most of the stuff you can find on YouTube, which was great. Right, again, that right there, check that out. Check it. So, anyways, I found her with the chocolate girl named Jane, and she had mites everywhere. And it was first for me. I had to look it up. Good thing we have Google and everything. Oh Jesus, I gotta clean my phone case thing again. And I had to figure out how to clip the mites out. I got her out and dumped all that, and got rid of the mites. Actually, I think I can't remember. I think one of the tarantulas I had mites here in this house. I think I did that. I forgot what it was. I want to say it was, and I want to say it might have been the Flat Rock Scorpion. It was one of those things, but why aren't we? That's all. Why I don't know why the music's not playing. We'll do a little refresh. There we go. I don't know why that wasn't playing. This is what's really all about: talking and listening to music. So, yeah, I took care of her, and then I had her for like a handful of years. So she was like 8, so she must have died when she was probably like 15 years old or so. Somewhere around there, I want to say. Maybe a little older. And then recently, my grandma, they're also Grandma Stola, so that's the family or genius they come from. I could be getting that wrong. But that's where they come from, Grandma Stolas. I had the Garcon Rosea, which was my rose hair, which was Dora, which, if you follow me or follow my Facebooks and seen pictures, Dora, she was one of my first tarantulas. And so I had her for 16 years, I want to say, somewhere around there. And she died about 19 years old. So she was my oldest tarantula. She just died a few months ago, I think back in November, I want to say. And so I went to the store. We were trying to get our emissions test done, and we got some codes cleared out and a part fixed and all that. So I had to drive the car around, and I just chose a destination. And so they were like, you got to take this car for like at least an hour drive. Well, they were saying like 20 minutes to an hour, but it really was about an hour or so when we found out. So I was just like, all right, destination drive. What's the nearest exotic pet store that's close by, and so on. And I had one in mind. I was just, what I wanted to get was a rose hair, and basically to see what other stores could be around to have that. Luckily, this place called Animal what again? Jesus, I just forgot. I think it was on here, right? Animal Safari, Animal something. Anyways, it's in Midlothian, Illinois, which is like 20-something, almost 30 minutes away from here in Brighton Park. And Animal Island, again, great store, great selection of tarantulas, scorpions, and reptiles, and all sorts of other things. I haven't seen a selection like this unless I go to an animal expo, and the prices that I've seen were pretty close to what animal expos do. So I was very pleased with that. There might be some things they could, I might have seen a little cheaper elsewhere, but to have that right there, like a collection from these guys to Brachypelma albopilosums, or they're not called Brachypelmas anymore, but they're still, my fire leg, my curlied hair, my Asian forest scorpion, they have a bunch of those. The Avic that I have, the arboreal one, they have like a crap ton of those guys. They're $25, those guys. And they have, which I'm going to look into, they got whip scorpions, vinegaroons. I was like, holy heck. So most definitely, when I got some new cash and I have a bunch of cages that I could be putting to use, I'm gonna start going there to support them and whatnot. And John or Josh, I'm sorry, if you somehow find me. Sorry if I forget your name. He was helpful. Me and him connected and told our tarantula stories and some of our favorites and whatnot. Excuse me. So it was a great thing. So check it out. You're looking for exotic pets. Animal Island in Midlothian. Please go. Please check them out. So, anyways, I'm sifting through, and since they don't have, like I was explaining earlier, for some reason rose hairs, which were abundant, just like emperor scorpions were abundant. You could buy them for like $20, $30. I think even $15 before. Now that's what the Asian forest scorpion is. So I don't exactly know what happened, but it's something about the breeding and the imports, and I guess a lot of people didn't breed them, so it was, I guess, cheaper to import them. That's how it worked out. So that's how we had a bunch of those, and it's what's happening now with a lot of tarantulas. And I guess talking to Josh, another Jay, he was saying that him, along with others, are trying to get some of these almost like Trump's idea of trying to keep things local, so we have things available for us, as well as to keep certain costs down. They're going to try to do some mating with certain species and try to get them going here, so it's definitely easier to access and cheaper. I'm still going to try to find a Grammosaur rosea. Hopefully it's not going to be expensive, but one day. Not a rush right now. We got her, which is a great tarantula still. Like I said, I had one before. This one's a baby, like probably a year old or less, and they grow very slow. So I'm going to be happy to see this, and happy if she lives to be 15 plus years old. Might have to go get some more water. But so we're going to change the camera here, and you're going to kind of see what they bring them in, as you saw the thing here. Let's switch this out. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, that's the other camera. I'm sorry. That's the paints I'm going to be using. Look at that, guys. Here we go. I'm glad about this. So, we got here. And we'll use this for right now. She is... I can bring this closer here. She's in there. So, she's from there to there. All right. You might be able to see her. I'm going to get a little closer here. Come on. That's a straw, just so you guys know. She's in there. You might be able to see that splotch towards the middle there. That's her. Or him. Who knows? We'll see. We don't really know until they're like a few years old, to be honest with you. I've had tarantulas that looked like females, but they turned into males. The males only live for so long. So certain species can live to, like, literally, depending on how they grow, from a few years to 9 years, somewhere around there, maybe a little longer. But most of my males that I've had only lived for like maybe 4 or 5 years ish that I've had. I've had some curly hairs that were males and a couple others, and they didn't live that long, which is sad because you do kind of grow attached to them. But hey, if you got some chicas, they could be living up to 25 years, as Dora and Jane lived 15 to almost 20 years. So, hey, it's all about the Benjamins, and it's all about the chicks. So so hopefully she gets to have a long age, a good old age there, and it's all about keeping them. There's a little cricket right here. We'll see if she takes it. Otherwise, they're gonna get out of there. They said they fed her, I think, earlier this week, so she might not eat. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep her in this for a while. She doesn't really need a bigger cage, so I might wait a bit. The next rehousing that I'm gonna do, tarantula rehousing or exotic rehousing, I am going to do that probably in the next video. Depending if I get to finish painting this, I might do that too in there. Just add them together. But I'm probably gonna do the fire leg and the flat rock scorpion, so you get to see that. The scorpion, he's a feisty little one. He's like this. He's almost this, a little bit bigger than this. Maybe actually more this size, the size of that straw there, to be honest with you, with the tail involved. And it hates light. Every time light comes, it runs away or shows its claws. But apparently they're also fairly docile. I was surprised that Asian forest scorpion was kind of docile. But, it's come out. Just so you know, it's come out. It went into its hide. It came out. I guess they like to hide and come out here and there. So it's come out already. It looks happy. It was crawling around the cage. Same thing with the curly hair that I rehoused. That was on the was it episode 10 or 11? I forget which one. That was 11, I think I did, the curly haired. So that went into its coconut home, and a week later it came out. I thought it was going to molt. I didn't see it, so maybe it molted. I have to look a little later, but I didn't see it in there. So it must just try to got used to its home, and now she's out walking around, and the Asian forest scorpion seems to be hiding a lot. So that's been interesting so far. I will probably handle it because it seems to be very curious. So yeah, when it comes out next, and maybe I'll do a video so you guys can see it out doing its thing. Maybe crawl around a little bit, and then get it back in its case so y'all can do that. But yeah, so that's Chocolate Goldeny. It's gonna get as big as this. Hopefully it lives forever. She's in her little thing because probably because I moved this and she's freaking out. They don't want to be bothered, and I'll keep her in this for a little bit. I might put a little more substrate in it. We might rehouse it, but right now I'm like, it's not a rush. It's already been. This is a big enough house at the moment. She's got to hide and everything, so there's no reason for her to freak out at the moment, and put it in a different cage. So no rush on that, but most definitely the fire leg and the flat rock scorpion, I'm going to change things up a little bit. Most definitely I got some flatter rocks for the scorpion. I'm going to try that and do that. So anyways, that is a Mexican Chocolate Goldeny. Most of my tarantulas are from Mexico, which is pretty cool. The Honduras curly haired, the Mexican fire leg, and this is the Mexican Chocolate Goldeny. And the Avic, I think that's an Asian tarantula, and obviously the scorpion's Asian, and the flat rock I believe is African. So we got diversity, we got DEI happening in my exotic pet collection, and the Pac-Man frog's doing great. It's been coming out more. It eats like crazy. I think I might have to up the feeding on it because I see it eating every time I put something in there, or I will feed it with tongs and everything. So I'm going to go put her back. Just want to show her. Maybe when she comes out again, I will show you how small she is. But right now she's hiding in her thing because I'm moving around and stuff. She's literally been sitting on a shelf and everything. And it probably only gets moved when they throw a cricket in there. So we'll get this ready. I'm going to turn up the music. I'm going to go put this back. And let's rock out. Thanks for watching Chillin with Jake.
About me
Oh.
Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. The Hapanwo Show on Hapanwo Radio, every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Free to listen to, free to download. Great guests and features, space weather and all the latest news. Talk to the host, guest and other listeners in the Hapanwo Radio chat box. For more details, go to www.hapanwo-radio.blogspot.com.
There you go. So yeah, I'm sorry if some of the music's a little loud. Here, we'll get back to my face because I noticed that we should switch up camera angles a lot more. Of course, you don't need to see my face as much, but if you want to, that's what we got the different cameras for. Oh, also, I'm like maybe I'm gonna put some more lighting here. What do you guys think? All right, let me know what you think. I'll put some more lighting here, and kind of pop this out a little more, and maybe something more in the back. I don't know. We see. I might change that up so you can see the whatchamacallit, the pictures in the back. I enjoy that you can see my Alex Ross Spider-Man painting or poster here. That's a goofy Black Panther one, which was given to me. So I can't turn down a good poster, especially a Marvel related. And I shouldn't say goofy Black Panther. I just mean the movie, because Black Panther is an awesome character in the Marvel comics, and was awesome for the most part in Civil War, Marvel's Civil War, the MCU Civil War. But the movie itself, his movies, and that was definitely something I would have getting into as well. But I one of my favorite characters, right? On a list of many, to be honest with you, because there's tons of them. But most definitely one, and I was not happy with how they made the movie. It just was too, I don't know, goofy is the word I'm going to use. Goofy, right? So, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to change that. So I got more of the paintings in the back popping out. And, yeah, that'll pop that up. But, yeah, I'm thinking about getting some lighting here and to pop this out and maybe cast some more light this way. We'll see. But, yeah, if you think that's a good idea, let me know. I'm going to double check on my Facebook here. We might be up to 1. I do got to try to get some sleep so I have some some energy for tomorrow for when I do the 13 views. Hey everyone, hey, that's on Facebook, and let's check out our YouTube. Again, give me some feedback on the wonderful sound. Oh cool, someone's actually watching too. Hey, thanks. Thanks, cuz. I got a cousin watching. Oh man, what's that? So, there we go. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe let me get that lighting going there. All right, and let's get this here. We're gonna get some paints going. I'm gonna show you some of the colors and what I use for painting. And go with that. There we go, back to that. Switch it up. We don't want no problems. Oh, hell yeah. Heavy hit. Rise of the Dumb. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Rock Out. That's my friend's band. So, yeah, I was going to get some painting done here, and I'm going to use a special paintbrush tonight. This is a friend of mine that I play, well, I should say that I got into that I got them into Warhammer with. They gave me this brush. I believe this is a number 0. So it's a really thin brush. Oh, where's the camera? There you go. Really thin brush. And it looks a lot better than the other Chinese brushes I have, which I got from Wish, I think it was. There we go. So we're going to start with some colors. Here we go. That. Oh, speaking of Marvel, as I'm getting these colors ready, I've been watching Daredevil and Daredevil Born Again. And, yeah, that's... It's still a good show, but it seems off. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a Franken show. Like, you could tell there's like stitched together or something, you know? I can't totally explain it, but that's the only way I can explain it, is that it feels like it's stitched together. You know what, we'll do a light gray first on these. We may change these up, but we're going to get some gray on them. So real quick, what I did here, as you can see, there's, as I bring it up here, which I can probably zoom the camera in, but here we go. The reason why it's painted this way, I spray painted it this way, is that it's called a zenithal prime. So all the areas where light will touch, it's going to be white, as you see, and all the dark areas will be dark. So when I'm doing my type of painting, which is kind of like a glaze in a sense, I don't have to do a bunch of lights and dark paints to kind of bring out those definitions and stuff. The way it's painted should bring that out. So you kind of want to thin your paint enough so it's thin enough that it'll cover those areas and still show the light and dark areas of one color, which is pretty cool. It's a very quick way of painting. This guy's really cool. He's my time mage. And it is a pain in the butt. And to real quick, to start my paintings, I just go to Walmart. I just buy cheap paints. You know, this is apple barrel paint. That's all you know. You can get GW paint, which I'm going to use this for in case it is still a little too light in some areas, that I will use this Nolan oil to fill in areas to kind of bring out shadows and other little details and whatnot. And this is a very liquid thin paint, so I shouldn't need much, but I thin these. But back to Daredevil. Yeah, I started watching that, and I'm watching the old series right now. I'm on season 3 right now, and most definitely the writing and everything else of it is totally different, obviously, from the new Daredevil Reborn. And all the goofy stuff that I kind of have a problem with, and you know, for my metals, I'm going to use a different paintbrush, because it tends to metal. This is a metal paint. It tends to gunk up your brush a lot more. So I have here, not that one. I'll use not that one. Here is not that. All my cheap brushes at? Holy heck! I am missing some brushes. I don't know what I did with that. There we go. But anyways, I guess we'll work with this since I'm just going to do a little bit of gold out here. So yeah, it's I don't like how it started with them. I'm not going to give too much away and get some of this hair off here. I don't like how it started. I'm going to give too much away, but let's just say the characters from the original series were just brought in for the first episode, and then they basically left. And then to replace them, we got some other characters, and I'm not gonna get too much into other opinions without starting arguments and whatnot. But let's just say the other characters are most of the characters don't have chemistry in this new Daredevil show compared to the characters of the original Daredevil show. Okay, there seemed to be weight and what you call it, stakes. Where this show, I can't totally explain. There's no weight. There's no connection. And although the story is loosely connected, I don't care what anyone says. It is loosely connected, but not as connected as one would think. It almost feels like the writers, which when I was looking up, they're the writers from The Punisher season 2, I want to say. Which, if that's true, well, I'm gonna need a napkin here, but if that is true, okay, then it was my least favorite season of The Punisher. Wasn't bad, but I didn't like the way they did certain things with. We're just gonna paint a little gold on here for the trim of the base, and if they are the whatchamacallit, the writers for that, I don't really know if that helps anything at all. And it doesn't matter if we get a little paint on things we don't, because we're just going to paint over certain other things. And usually with this, it's most definitely easier to have something holding it than your fingers. And I might just bring the camera in closer. But anyways, the slow episodes of the original OG series is leaps and bounds better than the filler slow episodes of Daredevil Born Again. Okay, and then Born Again, I'm just gonna put it here. Maybe I could turn this down a little more. Of course, my people in the chat can tell me if that music's still too loud over my voice. But the story Daredevil Born Again, which I believe is by Frank Miller, which was the creator of RoboCop. I think he did Judge Dredd too, but he did a bunch of other things. The Dark Knight Returns, which that came out with late 80s, I want to say. Then he did a third sequel to that in the 2000s, if I remember. And then a bunch of other things. He did Sin City. He's the creator of Sin City. If you've seen that movie and enjoy that movie, or if you enjoy the comic books and didn't know that, that's who that is. But he did, I think, a few other Daredevil titles, but he did Daredevil Born Again. And it's a lot better story. It has similar arcs in this story, but if they just would have adapted that better, or at least adapted it to whatever the Disney Plus version is going to be, it would still be leaps and bounds better than whatever we're watching right now. So they are parts loosely based off Daredevil Born Again, the comic, but they're also doing Daredevil. Oh my God, I forget which Daredevil it is, but it's the one with Muse, which is what, if you're watching a show, I shouldn't give it. It doesn't give anything away because I'm pretty sure they already showed Muse in the promotional material. But they're adapting like 2 or 3 stories, if I'm correct on that. And I only vaguely remember Daredevil Born Again. So what happens in there, which again, this is why they could have kept this going. There are some differences because they killed off certain characters in the. This is a great song too. In the original series, like Ben Urich could have been in Daredevil Born Again but they killed him off, I think, season 1, which was still, I think he died kind of the same way in the show as he did in the comics by Kingpin. So they kind of mixed a lot of that too with the OG series, just a little bit. But in the comic book version, I think Karen Page, which she's a hottie, in the show, she probably, I guess she was a hottie in the comics, but in the show, most definitely the actress is a hottie, which doesn't matter, whatever, misogyny. She, after so much stuff happens with the firm, Murdoch and Nelson, she becomes like a drug addict, and they kind of I shouldn't say hint to those things, but her troubled character arc does exist in the OG series, and what happens to her in the first episode of Daredevil is kind of what happens in Daredevil Born Again. So maybe that will connect at some point. And whatever. I'm going to give spoilers because this comic's existed for a while. I won't do too much because I vaguely remember, and you can find something on the internet to fully explain this. But she goes to California to become an actress because that's like really what she wanted to do. And I guess it didn't work out, and she ends up in Mexico, I want to say. But she becomes like a drug addict, and she literally just goes to the worst, bottom of the barrel type decision making. And I think Matthew Murdock ends up finding her and helps her. But pretty much what happens is that she gives away Daredevil's identity for drugs. Essentially, that's what it is. She gave Daredevil's identity away for drugs, and the Kingpin figures it out and basically destroys Daredevil or Matthew Murdock. So he's dealing with a bunch of stuff. Kingpin's, which is again kind of hinting in here, and they did a little bit of that in the OG series. But Kingpin goes after everything, business-wise, and I think he's trying to become mayor or becomes politician in Born Again. But the whole Daredevil mayor thing doesn't happen until I think it's 15 years ago or so. So in comic book storyline, so that happened 15 years ago or something, within the last 15 years or so, within the last couple decades. So that's a fairly new story arc. But I should probably keep the painting over this way. We'll bring my mic over here. And we're just putting some gold down. Let me see. Can I zoom in a little more? Yeah, we'll change this up, and then I'll set this up again, and let's see if I can zoom in a little more so you can see the painting, if you care about that. That might be there we go. I guess we can go up a little more. Look at these spots here. You see all these little red spots? Those are burn marks from doing plumbing. And it's not recent. This particularly is also, I got some, look at that. That's kind of recent, this one here. That was in the fall. That might have been September. I think I got this one around the same time when I was doing a water heater, and I was having an issue because the water kept, the valve or whatever of the water lines, they kept filling up with water. So it was hard for me to braze it without having issues. Eventually I got it. So it was good. But yeah, I tend to get hurt a lot, as you know. I slipped on ice, in case you didn't keep up with it. I slipped on ice in literally the first week of January, which slowed me down for almost 2.5 months. I think earlier March, I just started to walk without my brace. And the first week, I was using my grandfather's cane. First week or two, I was using my grandfather's cane to get around, and I did that the year before when I fell trying to change a filter at a bar downtown that I do work for, and which if you don't know, I do HVAC and whatnot. So I was doing that, fell about 15, 20-ish feet, and busted my face, which I have a scar here from the stitches. And messed up kind of the right side of my body a little bit. I'm getting better. A friend of mine from the game that I'm playing, our little group, was like, you need to start doing some yoga and stuff. And that, since he told me that, which I should have known already, it's been helping. And I feel a lot better. But I have to massage my leg, my ankles, both my legs, but most definitely the left side of my body, or the right side if you're looking at it from your point of view. I had to massage it. My knee's still a little swollen from that slip I had on ice, and now we just kind of wash this a little bit. And I'm going to put some gray on here, even though this is gray. All right, look at this. We're getting somewhere. And I'm trying to see what I want to do this color as. Maybe I don't have an earthy color, so the best thing I'm going to do, this golden brown is. I'll do golden brown, and if anything, I'll change it up with something else. I have we'll do that as a base just to add some color, and I can use the golden brown for other things. And again, we're just gonna do a light. You don't even need a lot. Oh, I gotta shake that. So, anyways, I did all that falling and everything. And what was I getting to with that? I don't remember because I got like this going on and this. But yeah, I had to use my grandfather's cane. Thanks to actually my cousin, he had it and was like, hey, and it's come in handy so far. Oh yeah, I got to get a napkin too. So, but anyways, yeah, Daredevil Born Again. That's really what I was getting into here. We're gonna get that a little more, and I got to get a napkin. And like I said, we're gonna thin our paints. You see, right there, you might put a little more. I don't think I need a lot here, and you don't. So when you're buying these paints, especially if you're getting into this hobby, these are like $1 maybe, right? Depending on what you're getting, a little more. And these are old. These are like years old already, and I'm still not done with them. So you don't really need a lot. We're gonna thin the paint a little bit so it's nice and watery. So whatever. We might water it down a little more. This is why I kind of want a napkin. But as you see, it will pull up here a little bit. This is not totally what I want, but it does help to get where I need it and to kind of keep some of the shadows and lighting here that might come through because of the original Zenithal Prime that I did. I think this is all open underneath, so I could just kind of boop, boop, boop. And we're just getting some color on here, just so we can get this somewhat ready to just display basically for the tabletop game that I'm about to play, Final Fantasy D20. And I'm playing a Time Mage, which is really cool. So anyways, back to Daredevil before I go get some other things and forget. And like a lot of Marvel stuff, it just, the current Marvel stuff, it's just so different. So the story of that, you got Kingpin going after them and just basically breaking Matthew Murdock, Daredevil, financially, mentally, physically. And yeah, so Daredevil's dealing with that, blah, blah. This show, which if you're watching now, I'm not gonna, because we're already 6 episodes in, so I'm gonna spoil a little bit of things. Not going to give everything away, but what happens is first episode happens, big thing happens, Bullseye comes in, which I'm pretty sure is in the promotional material, so I'm not totally giving that away. But Bullseye comes in, Daredevil's that, not a bad fight. It could have been better, but not a bad fight. Oh, that's right, I changed my camera, so you're just looking at me. Here we go. I was trying to, so I get that a little more closer there. And I might be able to get closer too. But anyways, Bullseye comes in. Cool fight, right? Cool fight. But they used a lot of CGI, which was really weird. And the show didn't have a lot of CGI, so I didn't think it was needed, for him to do, certain flips and whatnot. And it looked a little too cartoony. Not a bad idea. I get kind of what they were trying to do cinematically. They were trying to make it look like a comic book, I guess. That's what I'm guessing they were doing. And, yeah, it just looked kind of goofy. And how everything happened, it just... They started off strong. Let's say that, too. They started off strong, and this production has gone through a lot as well. This was going to be something totally different. Almost the same... characters, the same actors, and they were going to get new actors, but keep Charlie Cox, Daredevil. They were going to keep him and Vincent D'Onofrio, but they were going to change a few other things. So they ended up not, I guess, maybe because of fan backlash or whatever, but they didn't. And yeah, they changed a lot. Even there's an article which I posted up on my Facebook that talks about John Bernthal, whatever his name is, the Punisher, how he wasn't even going to do it because he didn't like the way certain things were being told to him. And then they changed everything up, and now he's involved, which is great. But we really haven't got to see him yet. We did get a surprise Was it episode 4? I want to say he did come in there, but most definitely, even that scene between him and Daredevil, him and Matt, just seemed out of place. It did, and given everything that happened in the previous season, that's like where I'm having kind of issues. Like, they made Vanessa kind of like the Queen Pin, because Vincent D'Onofrio was off around in the TV show Echo, if you don't know anything about that, and Hawkeye, so stuff was happening there. And I vaguely remember those things. They're kind of forgettable. I mean, I haven't watched them since they came out, so that's whatever. But vaguely forgettable what happened to them. And do DDP yoga. You're not Bob Ross. Don't spoil. I'm watching it tonight. All right, I won't spoil too much. I'm getting some people on live chat on YouTube. They all die in the first episode. Maybe he was telling them in the chat what happened. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I don't want to ruin it for you. Like I said, it's serviceable and entertaining enough, but most definitely it is not like the whatchamacallit, the Netflix show, all right? It's not at all. It's totally different. It's kind of watered down, kind of goofy, all right? There's, like, for instance, the one thing another example besides that, still a strong first episode, but the reason why they did all that, and it's so far, I don't like it. It hasn't really connected since now we're in episode 6. And then the things that happened in the first episode, they actually do a time skip. So there's a time skip already to get to this point, and then there's a time skip from that first episode to what's happening now, and it's just so off. Like, you can tell they kind of put things together, like kind of just Frankenstein stitch things together to keep this going, because it feels like there was other storylines going on, and then they kind of just threw in this Muse thing, which Muse in the comics is a Inhuman, which is like kind of like mutants in a way. But he's an Inhuman hunting other Inhumans, so I don't know how they're going to play that out with the TV show, because technically Inhumans don't exist. I think in the current Marvel, they had their own TV show, and they did exist at one point. And I guess Marvel, I think I put too much right there, but whatever. Marvel was like phasing them out in a way. And I think that's good for the brown right now. Now we're going to start with a gray for the rocks. And I wouldn't mind doing a different color, but we'll do a base gray. Even though they already look kind of gray. You can tell it looks kind of gray. But to actually just give it that gloss gray, that actual color gray to fill in some of the spray paint, whatever, and pop some things out. So, yeah. So anyways, they changed a little bit things up to get to that point, and then they're trying to do like a Daredevil. They're trying to do like a like some of the comics. They're like whatchamacallit, a crime procedural, lawyer procedural is kind of what the comics can be sometimes, which is fine because Matt Murdock is a lawyer. And again, as I see the comments on good old social media, people are like, "Oh, you just like don't like slow shows and stuff." But it's like, how could you say that if you're a fan of like if these people are fans of Daredevil and they're critiquing the show? How can they say that? Because I'm rewatching it now. I remembered I was most definitely entertained every week with Daredevil, and even the slow stuff was way better than the slow stuff in this show. The way they did the court stuff was definitely better in here. And for instance, I don't know how people feel on certain things, but there's a particular episode with this guy named Leroy, right? And I don't know, I could be being whatever, but I don't have to explain who Leroy kind of is, given the name Leroy. But he's a guy who stole caramel corn from a small bodega. All right, and the police arrested him for it in New York. Okay, New York, mind you. And just so you know, New York's laws are like California's, and I think all laws are the same now like this. If it is like under a certain like money mark, that you don't really got to get arrested for it, for retail theft. I think if it's under 1,000 or 900, something like that, they're not really going to arrest you. So one, it's already dumb that they're trying to arrest this. He's a bum of basically, and he's stealing caramel corn because he said he was hungry. So they're trying to get them. Daredevil takes up his case as a pro bono case, and the guy's giving him a hard time because he's blind and a few other things. And then he has a commentary on basically economics and the legal system, like basically how it's kind of like a scam in a sense, you know, or that it's kind of rigged. And that's really what's happening is basically it just had the story of this guy stealing caramel corn in New York City, which if you pick up videos of crime happening in New York City, specifically retail theft, they're just coming in and dumping their stuff in the bag, okay? Like they're not getting arrested, and when they do, they're just basically let out, which you can find stories around here in Chicago like that. So I found it very kind of goofy. Whoever wrote that particular part of the story added that, and I'm pretty sure they just added that so they can have a commentary on the legal system and economics. You know, that's basically what I'm getting from that. So they wasted like an episode and a half, I want to say, on this whole Leroy thing. He goes to the DA's office, the district attorney, actually not even an office, just the court, which, you know, the lawyers do that, and try to get a deal. And they want to give him 30 days in jail for stealing caramel corn, which some kids stealing Apple phones and stuff, or I shouldn't say that because that's pretty expensive, but clothing and stuff, they're not even getting that right now. And nor are they getting caught. So how did two cops just, we're going to come and get this guy, and somehow the store clerk held him down or something? Anyways, they arrest him. He's in jail, and Matt's like, the guy's like, I don't want to be in jail because I got to do this, and he's talking about his which is Social Security or something. He's like, I'm not going to get that if I'm in jail, and I already missed out one time because of all this, and it's just the system's against me, man. You know, that's basically kind of what he said. And it just was like, what? This was an episode? Like, this was an episode? And you're wasting this on this? Like, it could have been a more believable case than that. A guy stealing caramel corn because he's hungry, and Matt trying to lower his thing, which he gives him like a week in jail. That's basically what he gets him, which is probably what would have happened anyways, if anything, right? So he gets that. You get into that, and that's one episode. Then they have one of the latest episodes. The next episode from the first and the second and third, I want to say, they weren't bad. They were talking about another Marvel character that hasn't shown up in the movies or anything. But they were talking about him. He was pretty cool. Again, I'm not going to give too much away, but it is a Marvel character. He is a street-level vigilante, and Daredevil takes his case on because of an actual case that's actually worth it, which has to do with corrupt police officers. And again, Daredevil's mostly doing lawyer stuff, so he hasn't been in Daredevil, or he hasn't done Daredevil stuff in a while since the whole Bullseye thing. And then he's doing the lawyer stuff, which, okay, fine, but make it believable, a little more believable. So he's doing that. That kind of works. It's, you know, there's the whole thing kind of ends or starts. The story arc itself is good, but then it switches to this caramel corn thing, and then it switches to another thing, and in between that, we're getting stories about Kingpin going to marriage counseling between him and Vanessa, and that's also kind of odd because it's like, I don't really remember Vanessa being that involved at all, but apparently Kingpin has been gone for so long that she's taken over, and she kind of doesn't want him back in a way. It's really weird. She was like in love with this dude. Even if you watched the first two, she was like in love with Kingpin. He's in jail, I think, in the second and third season still, because he was in jail towards the end, or he's in jail in the second season of Daredevil. But most definitely that whole season he's in jail doing stuff. And I think in the third season, which I'm going to finish coming up soon, he was somewhat in jail still. And then the Hand's involved. Great stuff. Hand, Kingpin stuff, all good stuff there. Some stuff's a little weird with Kingpin. They kind of make him this, you know, kind of make you feel bad for him. But, so yeah. Oh, yeah, you can't see it. Can you see it here? No, it's not as good. But they kind of make it bad a little bit, making them kind of like, make you feel bad for him, which is whatever. But I don't know, that's not the Kingpin I know. He still does Kingpin stuff. It's still good stuff in at least the original run. This Kingpin in the Disney run, he's just like kind of dealing with trauma, which is, again, fine if they just didn't do it so goofy. That's the best way I can explain it. And even in here, it's like, why are we wasting time on Kingpin going to marriage counseling? Him already dealing with him being the mayor now, which is a Daredevil story, when more of the recent stuff. And him trying to battle both of those, be the mayor of New York as well as be a criminal crime boss. That's good enough. That could take up enough time. But in between that time, from basically the first episode onward, we're dealing with him going to marriage counseling with Vanessa. And if I remember correctly, the psychologist, the counselor, is actually Daredevil's girlfriend in the show now. And there's no chemistry between them compared to like Karen and Night Nurse, which was Rosario Dawson's character in the originals. They had chemistry. You can believe that they're distraught, they're dealing with stuff. Rosario Dawson is a nurse who's got to deal with the goofiness of what happens there and the long hours of her job, and then she falls in love with Daredevil, and they have an understanding like, hey, this may not work out. You know, he gets the hot girl, it may not work out. They kind of it's a fair breakup. You know, it's believable. Here, I don't know what happened where this chick really, you know, came in, I guess, the time frame, you know, that they've been gone. I guess she's been... But there's no chemistry between them. Again, there's not a lot of chemistry between a lot of these characters. Let alone they have these filler episodes that kind of just seem disjointed compared to the overall. They do connect it a little bit, but they kind of stand alone. And it's just like, compared, again, to the stuff that happened in the original season. Even another filler episode where he starts to become Daredevil, basically, he's getting back to being Daredevil, is a bank robbery scene, which is, I think, the last episode, which they got Camilla Khan's dad, who's Miss Marvel in the new Miss Marvel show, or if you know Miss Marvel from the comics, the first Muslim superhero, which I only think she's the first Muslim superhero, but that's how she's billed as. She's also a mutant. She wasn't Inhuman, blah, blah, blah. In the show, they make her a mutant. And there's other mutants too now, if I remember correctly. But they bring him in. Daredevil's going there to get, I guess, money for his firm, which is not Murdoch and Nelson, which I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm in the third season. I'm gonna see if that changes. It's gonna freshen me up as I continue on. But it's like, I guess in a year he already has this huge firm, his fancy firm with new employees and stuff, and it just is, again, these characters are just not believable to me. That's like really the best way I could explain it. They're just not believable. And they fill in for the characters that left already, right? And it's like they could have just kept those characters and kept that, that chemistry. But they didn't. I might change this gold. But we're just going to keep it on anyways, because why not? I can always do that later. So they have that, and then this episode is a bank robbery, and maybe it's the whole I'm an old fart now. I'm 42. Maybe I don't get these youngins and their new writing, and why certain people are in certain roles, without having to get to whatever. Because I grew up with diversity. Let's just say we're talking about diversity. I grew up with diversity in my media, from having Hispanic characters, black characters, Asian, so on, in all my media. One of my favorite characters, comic book characters, is Spawn, who's a black dude. Me growing up, the way I did, and also being Mexican American, I didn't need to connect to Spider-Man for him to be those things, right? There was different reasons why I connected to him. So it's a little weird now. So, and most definitely Daredevil's got quite the diverse characters, and most definitely a lot more female leads in them compared to the original show. And again, that's not a problem because I grew up with female leads in all sorts of things, you know. We had Sigourney Weaver in multiple stuff, but in Aliens, she's one of the favorites. We got Linda Hamilton in Terminator. She's a huge part of that. Badass character. Wonder Woman is a popular character. We had Xena, growing up, and tons others, right? And horror movies are literally, as they call them, the final girl. She's the hero of most horror movies. So there should be no problem with female characters in the modern age, and there seems to be that issue. And I'm going to say, maybe it's just how they're written now. I don't know. Maybe that's it, because everything seems so off-putting and the way things are introduced. So in this episode, again, it feels kind of goofy. He meets Camilla Khan's dad, who's a assistant bank manager, and they have a robbery happens, and these guys are straight up an Irish bank robbing team, all speaking an Irish accent, and it's all kind of cartoony. They're actually there for a reason, which is connected to a little bit of larger story between Kingpin and Vanessa. But they're there for their reasons. Daredevil's there for his, and just little things are goofy, like Camilla Khan's dad, Yusuf, talking about his daughter, the way things kind of play out in the bank robbery stuff, which is really not believable. It just seems too like paint by numbers. We're doing bank robbery and these things happen. I'm a bank. There's like, my job is I'm a bank robber. Your job is to make sure these people live. That was like literally a line in there. And then, which is funny that they even throw this one line in for this particular character who is the hostage negotiator, which looks like she's a young Asian woman, which I wouldn't buy. Her added everything I couldn't buy as a hostage negotiator at all. Her whole demeanor, I don't buy it. And she tries to talk tough, do these things, and she even gets a line. The cops that are there go, what was it? What happened to so-and-so? He goes, he had to take a day off or something. So she's there now. And it's so goofy, the whole scenario. And that whole scene, even though it's somewhat connected to the larger story arc, is just goofy. There's nothing in the original series where I'm gonna say I like Daredevil. I'm a fan. I'm familiar with the character. I'm familiar with the movie. I'm familiar with the original TV show. So I should be fine with this show. And I'm just meh. That's the best way I could put it. I'm just meh with it, right? So now we're on to 6, and now we're gonna see what happens with the rest of the show. But Muse comes in, and Daredevil does a whole fighting thing, trying to find the character's niece from the second and third episode, and just everything kind of just happens. That's the best way I can explain. It just happens. Everything's just happening, you know. So that's like really the best way I can explain my mini review of Daredevil Born Again. It's entertaining enough, but it just feels like everything's just happening. And I'm already hearing season 2 is going to have some comeback characters and they're going to continue the Muse story. But I feel they should just stuck with the Muse story now, okay, instead of like half building it up. And now we only have, I think there's 9 episodes, so we're on 6. So there's 3 more episodes left of this Muse guy that we just got really introduced. He's been popping up here and there, killing people, and he's doing this art thing. It's whatever. The character itself is kind of whatever. I'm not like, ugh. You know, he does art. He's a serial killer, a super villain serial killer who does art by killing people and using their blood. And the reason why he becomes important is because he did a mural of Kingpin, and Kingpin just is like, let's find this guy. And again, there are things from certain parts of Daredevil's story Kingpin's doing, but it's so goofy. Like, he's just, there's some allegories, I guess, to what's happening now in politics with the new president, Trump, and everything. So maybe they're trying to do that. I don't know. Maybe that's why they did the rewrites. I don't know. You can see some similarities in how they're pushing certain things and how Kingpin is, Wilson Fisk is as the mayor of New York. But the way he's doing things at times is just kind of, he makes a coalition, which is part of the comic books of the anti-vigilante, since he becomes married, becomes anti-vigilante. And they're just like cops. And Kingpin just like brings them all in on like a secret job, basically. He's like, you're going to find this Muse character, and you're going to be the new guys of our... And he's just handing guns out of a trunk to this special forces group that basically is going to have, power to do whatever they want, which I guess is akin to the Patriot Act and some things that are going on now with certain policies. And maybe the allegory of it being kind of cringe and goofy is the same thing. Who knows? Whatever. But most definitely the way they wrote it and the way they're doing these characters now is cringe. It's just the way they put them together. It's just disgusting. So anyways, they do that. Daredevil, this girl gets caught. Daredevil's trying to find her. And then just happens like, oh, yeah. And then he just starts fighting Muse. And, oh, yeah. And then there was a scene I missed previous to that with Daredevil and Punisher, or Matt Murdock and Punisher. And although, and people are saying it's such a great scene, on surface level, yeah. But when you start thinking back to like the stuff that happened in the OG series, it's like, and then what had happened in the first episode, it just seems out of place. That's the best way I can. It just seems out of place, and people are praising that stuff. Oh man, I'm seeing it all over my Instagram and TikTok. This is the best scene out of Daredevil, blah blah blah. And again, surface level, yeah. But when you start digging, I'm just like, this doesn't seem like these characters. And why are they addressing certain things that already happened? And why did it take, was it 4 or 5 episodes to get to this point to address something that happened in the first episode? Which again, I guess narrative that could work, right? Yeah. But it just kind of comes out of nowhere in a sense. Kinda. Again, there's some connective tissue, but it just kind of happens, and that's what I don't like. Everything in the OG series, there's like a purpose. Right now, there's kind of no purpose. It's just like stuff is happening because some other things happened, which is like, the most boiled down way to explain story arcs and story writing. But that's they're just doing like the basic level to tell a story, compared to where the story being told in the OG series had depth to it. This doesn't have depth. That's the best way I could explain it. So, yeah. Again, still entertaining to watch. It's giving me something to watch because I don't really watch a lot of TV. Usually I'm watching YouTube, documentaries, scientific stuff, goofy stuff, whatnot. And working on other things, and I'll catch some old movies here and there, or I'll, watch something. But there's nothing that I'm like, connected to totally. And things, people connect me like, hey, you should check this out. It turns out like, I'm like, I don't know. Just think modern TV kind of sucks now. That's the only way I can explain it. There's a lot of shows I should like that don't. One of them most definitely was, Midnight Mass. And I'm not going to get too much of it because I would have read, because I'm going to try to keep painting this here. But that was a show I should like. But again, it's just like things are happening, and there's characters with motives and stuff that don't make sense. And then there's all that diversity stuff. I'm not against it, but certain things just seem a little, I don't know how to explain it. It's just goofy the way things are implemented when it comes to this type of stuff. That's the best way I can explain it. Unless it was always goofy implemented, I don't know. But at least when I was younger and in between that, like Blank Man, again, minority character, played by Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer. 2 characters, superheroes, their own superheroes, which I believe Blank Man was filmed in Chicago. He might be our Chicago fictional superhero, right? And one of my favorite movies, funny, minority character, all that, and just stuff now is like the Black Panther, like I was saying. Great character, but so watered down and forced stuff when it comes to being implemented on the big screen or even the smaller screen. That's how I feel about a lot of stuff. And of course, that's how I feel about Daredevil right now. So we'll see. I'm watching a few other things. I just finished Invincible, which is good stuff. Invincible is good stuff. The people behind that, they don't exist anymore. There was like a handful of shows that they brought to Amazon. Invincible was one of them, good shows. And then a new person who they just fired, or I think she resigned. She's one of the showrunners, I think, or showrunners, but people behind the Wheel of oh my God. Anyways, whatever that show is, the Lord of the Rings show, and a handful of others, and a lot of people don't like those shows, right? But most definitely Invincible, The Boys, which is also good, and another handful of others. Those are some pretty popular shows, and this was created by someone else that had to actually also resign, if I'm right. I don't know if he was fired or resigned because of something he said at a party, which was interesting. Something he said at a party, and that's why he had to go. You know, again, lame, but, you know, that's the way things are nowadays. And, yeah, it's just a lot of TV is it's kind of crap to me. You know, you're watching out there. I mean, you have that same feeling about TV? Is it just, yeah, there you go. There we go in the chat. Make new call. Justin, it's the spoiler show he's watching for you. Justin tries not to spoil shows he's watching for you. Just say it. Everything sucks today. Everything does suck today. Thank you, fam. Everything does suck today. That's basically what it is. And thank you for joining the YouTube chats. But yeah, that's it. Everything sucks today. It's just, I can't, that's the best way to put it. So, yeah. Let's get back to painting here. Let me get a drink of water. Thanks for the people in the chat. Other people, please join in. Let's check up on Facebook real quick. Let's get this going. Back to that so you don't got to see my ugly mug so much. And, oh, great. We got another viewer there. And we got 16 views on Facebook. So Facebook's always, just Facebook alone, I'm getting, by the time it's recorded and everything, I'm getting like hundreds of views on it. So it's good stuff, man. I appreciate the views and whatnot. I appreciate the people that did tune in, and of course everyone that does join in the chat here and there. But yeah, here we go. We're gonna get some more paint going here. I'm kind of done with this base. I'm done talking about Daredevil, Born Again. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe the second season is going to be better. Like I said, it's serviceable. It's entertaining enough. But is it like the show from 8 years ago or whatever? Most definitely not. It's got that Disney feel to it, and it doesn't really. Disney could have done better, and people already were like, yeah, there's going to be blood and all this other stuff. And yeah, there's aspects, but we're 6 episodes in, and we barely got to see Daredevil stuff, in a sense. We saw Matt Murdock stuff, and the stuff that's Matt Murdock is just, again, knocked out. All right. We're going to be done with the base for right now. I may have to sand that down before I glue it on. I got a drink of water. And, I mean, you can't really see it. I guess you can see the gold on there, right? Where's my... I had this thing. This might work for right now. If you can see the colors better. There we go. No! I had a thing I used to use that makes it easy to paint with. I just put a little putty on there, and it holds on. But I guess that's not too bad. What do you guys think? I know I have more detail, but I'm just kind of getting it ready so it's got some color, and it's got some depth to it, so I could just put my guy on there. As you can see, there's some shading there. That's because that's the dark, the Zenithal Prime. And then it's lighter up here, as you can see, and you can see some of the shading. And that really is all just from the original thin coat and the Prime itself. So we're going to let that do its thing. We might touch it up or whatever. But that works for me for right now. Now we're going to get to this guy. So we're going to paint the hood, the cape. First, we'll probably do some pants. And I think I'll do some of this. It looks like armor he has on. Character-wise in the game, Final Fantasy D20, the mage doesn't really need armor. But we'll just say that that's his mage armor or something, because that's a spell that he has. So we're going to obviously paint that like a silver or, chrome color. And maybe I'll do the boots a different color. I don't know yet. What I want to do is the cape will be a dark color. So we're going to go with a Admiral Blue here. Shake this baby up. Oh, yeah, let me get a napkin because I'm going to need that for paints. Let me get some napkins here. Let's listen to some music. Thank you again for joining in. You got any questions and whatnot? Oh, yeah, there's another thing that I'm going to talk about, too. But if you got some questions for me or you got some topics or critiques or whatever, just throw them in that chat. Throw them in the chat. I need them. I love them. It's great stuff. Thank you.
Spend another 20 days in jail. Well, it's easier than raising bail. And he's not the first I've known with a plan for dying slow. He ain't the first I've seen who gets his jollies being mean. He was looking for another way.
All right, here we go. We're back again. Oh, yeah. Fam, since you're listening, I was actually going to send you something. And I'll message you in case you don't listen. But I've been wanting to go to this airsoft field in Indiana. I forget. I think it's in Portage, or it's in, or it's near Portage. But anyways, I've been wanting to go, and I was thinking that we should all go. So I'll send you the links, and if you're interested, it's airsoft. I think they do paintball and airsoft. But I've done paintball. We could do paintball, but I've been wanting to do the airsoft stuff because, that's all looks like real guns and whatnot. I guess I could start with this blue. So yeah, check that out. Look for airsoft stuff in the wonderful Indiana area. Oh, crap. That might be good enough. I don't know. I may need more. And then we're just going to do a drop of water. Look at that drop of water. Probably could have did a little more. And I guess I'm just going to keep using this particular brush because it's good for bigger areas. I'm going to take this and dry it off. Get whatever other crud and stuff on there. And then we're going to take this blue and just bring it up over here. And you see, that's kind of the consistency we want right there. And then we're just we'll start here in these dark areas just to get the paint going. And then we're going to work our way down. And it looks like I got to get, which is fine. It's a little bit split up here. Get a little bit off. Get over here and get that going. But, yeah, I wanted to do airsoft. And I think it would be perfect for us to have some fun and stuff. Because I do like guns, even though I don't own guns. But I do own airsoft pistols and pellet guns and BB guns. And I used to do target practicing with them. And it's fun stuff. Look at that. We're going to get some here. And even though the pigment, you see how it's kind of pulling up there? I don't really want that, so we want to get it more there. To kind of put some more paint on areas. Happy Bar Mitzvah. There we go. So I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the light popping up here, right? The lighter areas and the darker areas. And that's because, again, from the prime that I originally did. So I could just get away with this coat, this one coat or so, just to get paint on here, without having to do a bunch of little highlights and whatnot. I can when I want to, but right now, the watered down paint I have and the prime I did brings that stuff out. I don't know if you can see. You see where it's light and dark? usually what you would do is use a darker color to get the dark areas, or a black, and then use a lighter color to get that. But because there's white and dark already on there, we're doing it this way. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. So yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about, actually I could probably bring this down. I'm sorry if it's too loud. Another thing, I was watching this video that is, I guess it's like a Christian-based channel, but they talk a lot about occultism and stuff. And of course, I'm into occultism. As I showed earlier, I have some Solomon seals on my neck here. There we go. Let's get some of that going. Bam, bam, bam. And this guy was like a Freemason and a bunch of other things. And the stuff he was talking about, which I found very interesting, was that he was saying, which is something I've heard before too, was that that Chicago is kind of like an occult hub, all right? And so there's a lot of sects, S-E-C-T-S, sects, I'm probably saying that still wrong, in the area. And I've heard stories myself about this, so it's not surprising. But it was kind of interesting hearing, because he was mentioning certain groups. I think one's called the Brotherhood. I think I put too much here. So we're going to try to spread it around. Oh, shoot. Yeah. You want to see the actual painting. And he was interested in the stuff that he was getting involved in. And he mentioned this group called the Brotherhood. He mentioned Druidism, which is not the first time I've heard about Druidism in Chicago, like a special order. And of course, there's a handful, more than a handful of Freemason lodges, because they're everywhere, of course, right? I myself was going to be a Freemason. I was offered to join, and then I checked out some lodges, went to a couple dinners, and talked with some people. I kind of had an iffy experience with one of the lodges, which wasn't bad on them, but it was a couple of the older guys. They were kind of questioning my philosophy. So in Freemasonry, you don't have to be a Christian, but you do have to believe in like a creator or a god of some sort. So it is weirdly a Christian influenced belief, I guess is the best way to explain it. Order, fraternity, there we go. That's a better fraternity, because that's kind of really what it is. And the whole idea of Freemasonry involves with like being a pillar in your community. Ideally, it's got some like altruistic motivations, I guess, intent, right? It's about helping one another. That's why it's called a brotherhood. And the people that I met that are in it, they're cool for the most part. There's nothing nefarious about them, all right? So it's like I'm not. I never got that feeling off any of them. But there's, everyone says like, oh, well, you don't know how far they're in, and you don't know what they really know, or if they're just on the lower levels, because it is like that. There are some levels, and it does take time to get involved with stuff, right? You got to do your memorizations, and you can work your way up to certain degrees. There's 3 degrees. I'm not going to get too into it because I'm not as familiar with everything with Freemasonry, let alone I just went to a couple dinners and visit a couple lodges and talked to a handful of people that are in it, right? I have some friends that are in it. It costs a lot of money. It's like $200 per test you have to do. That's how you get your degrees. And then if you, for whatever reason you fail, you got to keep paying, and then you got to pay your dues and whatnot. So it is costly. And then the reason why I didn't get in is because of that. And they wanted to meet my family. and my girlfriend at the time that I had, and I just was like, one, I didn't have time for new hobbies. That's one reason, right? I didn't have time for new hobbies, and two, I kind of was just a little uncomfortable with that. And then again, my experience, which basically was happening. Luckily I had a couple of guys kind of back me, but the people I met there, they were judges, business owners, lawyers, stuff like that. So it is true like that. Oh Jesus, it's already 1:30. We're gonna be almost done painting anyways. What happened here? What happened to the music? There we go. Let's check that while we took a little break here. I don't know why I'm not getting the updates on the chat when I need to. If you've never done airsoft, we should get into it. We should try it. Oh, I'm not using it. Now I got to put that here because the plastic just fell. I don't know where that dropped. But this type of paintbrush, which is not a thin brush, I got to get used to where the camera is here when I'm painting. This type of brush is good for these bigger areas. That smaller brush I have, I will use on some thinner areas. Now, I don't know what I want to paint as boots. I have... And there might even be armor on his boots. I want to say... This is also going to be blue, so we're just going to paint that blue. There. I think I put some more water. There we go. But anyways, this documentary, this interview, that was happening about this ex-Freemason, was talking about how he was traveling kind of like in the Midwest doing his thing. He was in Wisconsin. I think Ohio was one of them. And then he was here in Illinois, if I remember correctly. And he was doing stuff in Chicago here with some other occultists. And if people don't know, a lot of our occultism that's here in the States kind of comes, obviously, from, people from all over the world. But a lot of, like, that fraternity type stuff, that, like, cool, when you think about, like, Eyes Wide Shut, kind of ceremonial fraternity type occultism, it comes from, like, the French, actually. And if you look up, what'd you call it? I gotta stop doing that. My hand keeps going outside of the camera. I should just move it over more, but this is where I got to keep it. It kind of comes from there, and Chicago is heavily influenced by the French, believe it or not. So that's a huge part of it. Let's get up here more. And I think he even mentions that in there. I'm trying to see where else could be blue here without getting too much on. But anyway, so he mentioned a few areas. We're just going to get blue anyways there. We'll get blue in here. I'll get a little more blue here. That works. Bam, bam, bam. Wash that up. And so he mentioned a few places, and I got to go back because I was going to look up more, but I ended up looking up this place in... Well, actually, I haven't confirmed it. I'm still looking for the exact place, but Glen Ellen, when I was getting into ghost hunting, Glen Ellen was kind of popular because there was like a seminary, Maryknoll Academy, I think is what we called it, and it's in Glen Ellen, and there's one of the, was it the church or something? Anyways, it was known to be haunted by a few things, like a priest. Oh man, I think I put too much there. I kind of mushed it up, but it's whatever. That's not, I didn't want it that dark, so I might have to do a light there or something. I wanted to get this area here and this area. But there's that, and he was saying that that the town is heavily influenced by occultism, and it's actually like an upper class suburb, right? City. And in my experience in paranormal research and whatnot, yeah, there seems to be a weird correlation with affluent areas and occultism. I've had my run-in with occultism in affluent areas. And so I was a little taken by that this guy was talking about this particular area, because I think the median income is like $100,000. So you're making you gotta be doing kind of good there. You're not middle class. You're like upper middle class there and higher. And I think we're gonna do some dark brown, because I'm gonna do his beard dark brown. He's got a little beard, and then we'll do his boots dark brown right now. And I might do this light brown for his pants. I haven't decided yet. We're gonna see how that looks. So Maryknoll Academy came up, and it brought back memories. And then I have a friend of mine, Nicholas Pacone. He was a writer. That's how I found out about some more stuff, because he spent a night there and wrote about an article about it years ago. We're talking like late 90s type stuff, right? When I was looking this stuff up back in the day. So he was writing that, and I was like, hey, Blast from the Past, we're friends on Facebook. We haven't talked in a while. And I was like, yo, check this out. I'm looking up occult stuff, and your article popped up, like one of the first few searches on Google. And which, again, if you go on my Facebook, and you can find the links. It was like earlier this week, I want to say. And you can find his article that I linked to, and then the video that I was talking about. And what I want to do is like this. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at all this dried brown color. Get that out of there. Too bad I don't got a thing. But anyways, so I was looking stuff up, because this guy was talking about how he did a ritual in some park that had Egyptian and other symbolism in there, and I couldn't. He even said, he's like, I don't even know if it still exists, right? So he even said this, and this he could be totally lying. This whole thing could be totally. That's why I was like looking into this. The stuff that he was talking about Freemasonry that I know of is true. But I don't know everything. I never practice it. I never read any books by any specific things on Freemasonry. I've read stuff by Freemasons or people that consider themselves Freemasons, but I've never actually read any material. I shouldn't say I read a lot. I haven't read anything specifically, right? So I'm vaguely familiar with some of the stuff. That might be good enough. And then I should be doing this a lot more. I want to say this is like an armored boot. I want to say that. So I'm just going to paint it brown anyways, just to give it some color, and I can add details later. So, like I'm saying, I really don't know. I really don't know if he's telling the truth about a lot of things. And I looked up some of the claims that he had. And I can't find this area that he's talking about, but I did find things that go back, I think, to the 70s or 80s about some stories that are not specifically that, but one particularly was a family bought some property, and they found a headstone on there that had some weird symbols, and they found actually more than, not, I shouldn't say headstone, but like a stone feature, right? And so they found that there, and they said a lot of weird stuff happened. Actually, I'm going to have to find a video, and I'll post that in the chat or on the video itself of that guy talking about it. And I'll post it on my Facebook because it's easier to make a thread out of there. I should find something better, probably my LCJ's research group Facebook page or Facebook group. I should just do that there. But either way, yeah. So I'm gonna post that so you can catch it. But anyways, so I found an old news report, and it was talking about this family that found these stones that had these weird markings. Like I think it was like a serpent, and some other stuff that was unidentifiable. I guess I might do this here. Let's do this. This is I think this is like a crossbow or an arrow. And I feel like I have another brown, but we're just going to do that anyways. Again, we're just going to get some color on here. Nothing crazy, just so we get some color. It looks like it's doing something, right? I might have to change things up. I don't know. There's some straps here. This will work. Try to get some color on it. It looks like he has some scrolls here, all right, which is pretty cool because he's a magic user, so you will have some scrolls. Again, why is this? Why is this not working? I guess it doesn't matter. You have to worry about the music so much. So anyways, so they found some stuff, and it's in Glen Ellen, Illinois. And that's the only thing I could find that might be remnants to what this guy's talking about. Because they were trying to figure out why this was there. They didn't say anything, but they were saying that that people were having bad experiences, like cursed. Like people got sick and bad things happened to them. And stuff like that when they had these stones or took pictures of these stones. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, heck, if the news is, if the news, let's see, I got to remember, I'd probably not even do it all. If the news is, whatchamacallit, making pictures here and whatnot, can you imagine what's going to happen to us watching it? So, cross my fingers, nothing happens. Knock on wood, nothing happens here. But I found that interesting. That's the only thing that I could find about this. So this guy could be lying. He could be totally lying, which sucks, and people are watching this channel, listening to this guy talk about all these things. Or it just, like he said, maybe it doesn't exist anymore. They tore it down. But there are a lot of haunted stories and certain lore surrounding Glen Ellen. And given the Maryknoll thing, where they were talking about whatever priests, certain occultic, something going on those grounds. And he says it was a park, this area. I'm going to have to find the link, the clip, the video, and then make a clip. I might post it on my reels, which I should be doing the videos of this too, getting them and posting them on my reels and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna get that posted on there. So I found it a little odd, but there are some things that connect, and I kind of want to go out there to investigate, or maybe use some tools like Google Earth, or what's that, Google Past or whatever, and kind of see what existed there before. So we'll see. That's like kind of my next investigation, is to kind of investigate the claims of this guy's occultism and Glen Ellen, which, again, like I was saying, in my experience in affluent areas, it's kind of not common to kind of hear about occultism. So, and again, it's kind of like a like class thing. That when I got into paranormal stuff, we're going to use this guy. And now we're going to start using the little brush here. And, oh man, it's already fraying there, but whatever. I'm going to cover these areas and just kind of get paint here. Kind of add some depth to this brown, and then kind of finish this stream out with getting finishing a little more thing. Oh, I forgot to put the brown on this guy's beard, which I'm going to do, but we'll not ever on this. We're going to do this. But But yeah, I've had some interesting experience. We have here when I was living in Lake County, we had this place which I've talked about on many podcasts, including my own and others. I'm gonna try to. I just could do a little bit there. Just kind of pop this out a little bit. Trying to do all these little details. It's been a while since I had to paint little details like this. But it is my favorite to pop that out. Ooh, excuse me, I just burped. And I was trying to start this stream earlier, but that didn't work out. Look at that. Getting that on there. Again, we're just kind of doing a quick paint. I'm going to do a little light color there. I feel like that's got to be a dark blue into there, so I might do something there with that. But this place in Wadsworth, Mill Creek, Illinois, is the story of like that we had a Bloody Mary, and what she was. Yeah, I think this is all armor. So I'm gonna water this down a little bit. Just have a little drop somewhere here. And her story is that she was taking the slaves from the Underground Railroad and bringing them on this property on Dilly's Road in Wadsworth, Illinois, by Gurnee. And you can find the road is literally just down the street from Great America. You can get to it by Great America. Yeah, I think this is all armor. So this is fine. Try to get that going. Look at that. It's looking nice. And then I'm eventually going to have to take this brush and do some other details there. You know what? That might be whatever. We're going to get that silver too. But anyway, she was taking that, doing rituals on them and doing stuff with the bodies. I haven't totally confirmed how true some of that stuff is, but what made it interesting was that the real stuff that happened is that they built a subdivision in that area by the cemetery called St. Pat's, which is supposedly the area near where she might have been buried, but that's the whole lore, is that she's not buried there. She's buried outside the cemetery somewhere. I did find headstones outside the cemetery that are behind it, so that's a total possibility that it moved at some point, and they could have. I don't know what I want to do with that. Maybe make that copper just to pop that out. These look like bucklers or something. I'm not sure. That could be his hand. Or his sleeve, I mean. But I don't know. There's a lot of detail I could put into this. So yeah. Jesus, I keep forgetting. Let me get that closer. He's coming along. Look at that. Look at the way that lighting and the shadowing looks, all from one color. Just because I did that prime. That's why this stuff is so great. But so anyways, we're gonna see. We are going to see. I don't know what I should change this. Maybe I'll do this. I'm gonna do light brown to pop this out a little more. So, anyways, she was doing that. There's stories that occult activity happens there, and I've been collecting stories since I was a kid, a teenager. And here we go. This, I think I have a different, but this should be good. And I mean, these stories about occultism go back to the 60s because there's like campgrounds near, right next door to the cemetery, the property. And so, so what happened is that in the 90s, I think it was, some development company bought I put too much paint there. Some development company bought the property. You know, I'm gonna put another so we get some more water there. I'm gonna do a little more water in there, and we're gonna try to get a lighter brown in between all of this area here to pop that out. And so anyways, they found it, supposedly it had stone or something, and they put it on the property, and a bunch of weird stuff happened. And the weird stuff is legitimate, that houses caught on fire mysteriously, mysteriously. Again, maybe they were just trying to collect insurance. Who knows? I really don't know. It's totally possible. But it did happen. Was it the stone's fault? I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. But it did happen. And then after a while, they couldn't get people to move there. And it stayed vacant till this day. Like, someone owns that property. I have a friend who works in real estate, and he tried to find information on the property. But he was scared because it's got such a, the lore is so notorious. And dead bodies had been found there. There was a stripper from a strip club that used to be down the street from there called Baby Dolls. She was found dead back there. There was a possibility that a serial killer existed, and that's what was part of that. But again, I don't know. Maybe that's all related. Maybe it's not. But most definitely stuff has happened there. One time I went, and the cops came. Someone called the cops on us. There's neighbors there, so it's totally possible that they saw us coming in there. And we weren't on the cemetery. We were behind the cemetery, which is where all the stuff happens, okay? All the cool things happen there. It's not necessarily the cemetery. People do have stories about the cemetery, but that's not what's the cool stuff. The cool stuff's behind the cemetery. When I went, there was still remnants of houses there. There was like chicken coops and cars, and I do remember like a part of a house, and then the pool, which they called the Satan's pool, which is actually has nothing to do with Satan. What it was a bunch of kids back in like the 90s. They used to go drinking there, and like they were part of the people that were scaring other teenagers from going there. But again, the stories I collected go way past the 90s. They go to the 60s from people who lived in the area. Oh yeah, I know. I grew up with that story talking about Satanism and kids getting scared at the campgrounds and weird markings, symbolism showing up on camp doors and stuff like that, or bunk doors. And one time I got to go on to the campgrounds because when I was more involved with the paranormal, and a friend of mine, Amy, who gave me that tarantula that I was talking about earlier, we were with a group, and they had access, and they knew some people that actually lived. They were basically caretakers of the campgrounds when it was out of season, and they let us on, and they told us stories that they heard from people who also used to work at the campgrounds, who were also watching the cemetery, saying that, oh yeah, most definitely there was some occult activity, or at least people doing weird stuff or scaring kids with, the idea that it was a call that did happen there. They heard about it too. They claimed that they had some weird experiences. Oh man, whatever. I guess I can get that off later. It's not a big deal. What we're just trying to do, like I said, is get as much paint on here just to kind of get this guy going. And we're achieving that. Oh yeah, I still got to get his beard. I think that's a beard. Oh, now I don't know what that is. Because he looks like he has a gas mask on. Holy heck, I think that is like a gas mask. That is interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought that was a beard. But most definitely it looks like... Oh, crap. I'm sorry, guys. It most definitely looks like a gas mask of some sort. So I'm going to have to do that a little differently. But just to get some brown on here to break up the color, we're just going to do that. And we'll worry about all that other stuff later. I just realized that. I thought that was a beard, but that's a gas mask. So now that's a little weird looking, knowing that that's not a beard. But whatever. We got some color on this guy. And he's eventually going to go on here. I'm going to probably glue him on tonight just so I have it. But I'm going to pop out some other colors. Maybe do a wash on here. And maybe add some blue on some of these other parts here. But yeah, so there's stories there of occult activity there. I ended up taking some pictures and having oh, that's the dark one. What is the other brown I had here then? Oh, I don't know what that one is. Is that the same color? No, I don't know. Jeez. This is the brown I want. A little darker. And then now we're going to do some blue. And always wipe your brush. We're going to kind of get in here. And around here. And then here. And then my next occult experience, besides kind of dabbling into it myself with some people in my days. Oh man, did I get it on here too? Jesus. I was trying to get it around the boot there. All right, so we got some blue there. I'm gonna try to clean that up because I don't like that, guys. Oh man, yeah, we gotta get off soon. I gotta get some sleep. There we go. We cover it up. We just make our mistakes. We fix them. There we go. And then I might do a little copper there to break some stuff up. And then a little copper on there, I guess. Because I'm not sure what that is. I'll just kind of break up the colors a little bit. I think that's a glove he's wearing. I guess we could do light here. Some light. This golden brown. But my next one was in Bartlett, Illinois. And I found this story online back in the day. Like I'm saying, another like 20 years ago. And first time meeting up people online too. And we went out there. And that's another story actually, which I'll tell for another time. But Bartlett was called the Silo, and there was claims of occult activity there. And the Silo is located in Bartlett, Illinois, as I was saying. which is also another affluent area, which is also a kind of farmish. It's still kind of rural, but it's also affluent. So like, basketball players and stuff will buy houses out here. This is, not just any old neighborhood. And that's what I found a little, interesting about it. And again, in my days of researching this stuff. But we found a story. I decided to go and check it out. Yeah, I think that is like his glove. He got like armor on his glove. So I'm gonna break it up a little bit with this silver paint here, and I think I'm going to do copper on this part again here. Get a little silver on here, and then copper that area. And so anyways, I visited the place, couldn't find this silo, almost gave up, and then on the third try, we're walking, me and a couple friends, it's like October, November, no trees and all that, and as we're walking, the moon's shining through, and right through the moonlight and everything, I look through the trees, I can see, and there's a silhouette of a silo. And we couldn't believe it. It was like, oh heck, it's there. We finally found it. And we walked in this area, and it really did feel like it just appeared. Like we did go there, and there's this silo just out of nowhere, comes from somewhere, but we couldn't find it. And then we did as we're walking away. There we go. Look at that. We're getting some color on this guy. And so, okay, we're like, all right, we're going to come back. And I brought a friend of mine who was very skeptical of things. And there was like a bunch of us. We're like, all right, we're going to finally go check out this silo that supposedly occult activity happens at. And we're doing that. And I'm going to switch the camera up. Break things up a little bit, right? So, there we go. That's a better. We're doing that. We park the car. We start walking to the area. We get past the main entrance of it. And we hear literally chanting in unison. And the guy that's the more skeptical guy gives me this look, and he's all like, oh yeah, we're not going in there. Not because we believe in ghosts in that sense or anything totally supernatural, nefarious or anything, but because we know that people who are into a certain occultist stuff, could totally be could totally be real and are doing their occult stuff there. So I wish I had the cell phone like we do now. And maybe a little copper there. I don't know. I wish I had the cell phone there, because that would have been perfect for content, as they say these days. But also, it's so easier to collect things with the cell phone than it is now, And we could have recorded it, but we all heard it. It was chanting in unison, like, a handful of people doing some stuff in that silo. I eventually go back to take pictures, and I got pictures of a burn pit and some symbolism. We can't say if it's totally occultic, and anyone could be going there doing their stuff. It's totally possible. It doesn't have to be, actual, occultists being weird or anything. But it most definitely something was happening there. Oh shit, which one is this? Oh, that's that. Kind of messed up there, but whatever. We can cover that later. This is starting to come out pretty good. So yeah, so I eventually went back, found saw the silo and everything, and this is on someone's cornfield, FYI, their property. Now it's a possibility they don't know about it. It's a possibility they're related to it. I don't know, but most definitely this isn't just like any random place in the woods. This is on someone's property, and not too far away from the train tracks, I remember, and people's homes. It wasn't that far from the homes. So it's like if anything was happening, they most definitely would know about it. I mean, if I could hear the chain thing, and we were close, but we weren't that close to the there we go. We weren't that close to the silo. They could hear it probably in their backyard, and maybe they just ignore it. It's a possibility. I wouldn't blame them. You just want to be like, all right, well, they're doing stuff in the woods, so good for them. Good on them. Let them do their rituals and whatnot. But yeah, long story short, my experiences with occultism is usually in affluent areas, and I always found that interesting. Of course, doesn't mean that people that are poor don't do occult stuff, but that type of stuff is most definitely for like upper class. I mean, even in the day of the spiritualism, right? Spiritualist days, it was basically wine moms who were having like spiritualist parties. That's like basically what started the spiritualist age. Was kind of and more things. I'm just kind of making it simple, but it was kind of like stay-at-home mothers, affluent women who had friends over doing seances and stuff like that, and that's kind of what the spiritual age is. They're just doing tarot card readings and whatchamacallit, having parties, basically spiritualist parties, and that's what the spiritualist age is. It's nothing crazy. Yeah, there's some people that came out of it, but that's really kind of what kicked it off. Was rich, affluent white women who were interested in spiritualism is what kind of did all that. And yeah, so we'll see. And this guy, I don't think he was totally rich himself, but he said the people that he would get involved with in these areas were affluent themselves. They were in high areas, high positions. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. High positions. Right now, what I'm trying to do, I'm doing like a little bit of this edge highlighting, right? So it's going to be kind of hard to see. I might even mess this up a little bit, but I don't care. So you see where that white is? That is going to be somewhat of a glowing effect. So you do white first, where you kind of want it to glow. And then, oh man, kind of messed that up. But again, I kind of don't care. Not a big deal. There we go. I'm going to probably do a little bit more on here. And we're probably, once I get this on, and I'm going to do an orange wash on this, then I'm going to be done here. Oh, man. There we go. All right, now we got to get this here. But yeah, you can find more of that. And again, if you have questions and stuff, you can just post them in the chat or send me messages. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this as good as I want it. This I can get. Oh, man. That's okay, though. I can't really see, but I'm pretty sure that is... So that white's going to hopefully glow a little bit. It may or may not work out the way I wanted to, but we're going to try. I've done a little bit on my Necron models to give them they have like a green glow for them. And it kind of worked, so I'm hoping it does something here. Oh, man. Oh, there's even a glowing effect here, which I'm not going to worry about. I might do a dry brush to get those out. I'm not worried too much about the back. But we're going to make sure that we can get as much of this white and then put the orange color on so it can kind of look like it's glowing, which will pop it out more. There we go. It could have been a little better that I did this white in. And I'm fine with that because the glowing effect will be whatever. Alright, we're going to clean that up. And then we're going to take this brush and we're going to get this orange, which is just orange, no special. And we're going to kind of do a wash with it. Look at that. Oh my god, it's too much orange. Too much orange. Too much. Jesus Christ. Alright, whatever. And then drop a little bit of this. And we're going to bring some orange over. Bring another napkin.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours.
There we go.
Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding
Turn
light
it up while
on what's really
we're
going
doing
on
this.
in the world. All done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news.
The old podcast
Join
I used to
me,
be part
Gareth
of here and there.
Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and
didn't
so
exactly
on.
come
Or you
out
can go
how I
directly to
wanted
the main
here.
Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
Oh, there we go. Do 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 do. And we're just gonna get some paint behind here.
Calling card.
for the most part, pretty much ready to go. Do-do-do-do-do. Some way to focus that in there. Maybe if I do this. The overall feel is there, but yeah, the orange didn't work out like I wanted. So I might do something different, but I kind of don't care because I got color on him, and that's the main thing. And then we're just gonna glue them on, which I can do before I hit the sack here. The hood cape is my favorite thing right now. But overall, I'm still happy with how this guy came out. No matter what, even with my little mistakes, my mistakes are great. I might put like a red orange in those darker areas of his magical whatever. Look at that. Look at some of that. Most definitely could be better, but because I'm just kind of being quick with it, this is not bad. The glow effect didn't turn out how I wanted, so I might do another layer of white and then the red orange. I'm pretty sure I have red orange somewhere. And then do the orange again. I think that's what I need to do to help kind of contrast a little more. Those areas. But that's it. We are done painting for the time right now. We can put him on the base, get some glue on it, he's ready to go. I'll probably put some pics up on the old Facebook Reels, and you can get a little bit of a better, closer look of my crappy paint job. But for something done kind of quick without really too much thought, I only just had the colors I wanted in mind. I didn't know where exactly I was going to put everything, and I had an idea of the glowing effect, which didn't come out exactly like I wanted. But that's easily done with just spending more time on detailing and whatnot. But there you go. So I am going to call it quits. We are way over the time I wanted to. We're almost pushing 3 hours here. I should have been sleeping already, so which means that it's probably already close. It's already past 2. But yeah, thanks for chilling with me. Thanks for listening to me ramble about all sorts of things. And thanks for listening to the music, and thanks for the fam in the chat. And thank God for this wonderful night and the breath that I can take and the fact that I can keep doing this. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate your time. And I'm going to say good night. And we're going to go out with some more music. All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks.